All right, so we just had a primary on Tuesday, and as a result of that, we know the two final candidates for the open U.S. Senate seat here representing the great state of Michigan, and the Republican would be Mike Rogers, and the Democrat is Alyssa Slotkin. They have been invited now, Kevin, to 3 key debates. Thankfully, they're going to debate right here in the great state of Michigan.
Yeah, Alyssa Slotkin, she's a progressive Democrat known for her focus on health care and climate issues. Mike Rogers is a former Republican congressman with a strong stance on national security and economic reform. They're going to clash on major topics. But before the debate ever gets happened, you're probably going to hear their name a couple of thousand times, because this is probably going to be the most expensive Senate race in the whole country, because it is up for grabs. And they're talking about spending a couple $100 million in ads in Michigan on getting you to know Mike Rogers and Alyssa Slotkin. Most of these will be attack ads, tearing the other person apart. And so when they get to the debate stage, you may not even recognize who these folks are. And that's why the debates are so important, because then they stand there and you can assess them, and questions can get asked, and it's not just a commercial that's overwhelming you.
If you have a good moderator, you will see who each candidate is in these debates.
All right, let's bring in Dave Dulio, Director of the Center for Civic Engagement and Political Science, Professor at Oakley University. Hey, Dave, how are you?
I'm well, guys. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Are you ready for just a barrage of negative ads telling us who Mike Rogers and Alyssa Slotkin are?
Oh, they're already here. And I think you're right.
We're on the west side of the state, so we're not seeing them yet.
Okay. Well, they are here in southeast Michigan, as you guys know from your time here normally, and I think you're right. It's going to be at least a $200 million race, which is an astounding figure to think about, right? I mean, that much money could be poured into one race in one state. But it speaks to, number one, the competitiveness of Michigan, and two, just how important both sides see this race.
So will people watch these 3 debates? How interested are they in watching the two of them stand on the stage and debate each other?
Well, let's be very clear right off the jump here. Neither candidate has formally accepted the invitation of the Michigan Debate Task Force, which Oakland University is a part of, as well as 9 other organizations from around the state. We remain very hopeful that in the coming days or maybe week that we will get that formal acceptance from both candidates' camps, and then we can start to talk about them in earnest and really set the stage for what I think is a really important way for voters to hear from folks who want to be our leaders, right? You mentioned all these ads that are on television or are going to be on television. They go along with the mail that people get or the digital ads that they see or the events that these folks hold. All of those are produced and filtered, right, with the candidates controlling the message. And what the Debate Task Force wants to do is offer up more and what we think is better information, so that candidates have to answer questions from a moderator or talk to their opponent in a way that we don't get in those mediated and produced mediums.
So they have not. I had read that Mike Rogers had accepted the invitation and Alyssa Slotkin was expressed some willingness to be a part of this debate, but you're saying they have not yet accepted this, and you're hopeful they both do.
I think that both of what you said there is accurate, Tom. I think, but from the task force, perspective, we have yet to hear directly from them. So I don't want to jump the gun or make it appear that it's something that is not, right. But I read the same reports that you did, and again, we're hopeful that we hear from them in short order.
So let's talk about the debates themselves. There are scheduled to be 3 of the debates. I think at least one of them is timed before the absentee ballots are mailed out and early voting begins. I think that's just one of them. The other 2 are in mid to late October. But why is that timing critical for voter engagement?
Well, what we wanted to do as a task force is respect not only the way people cast ballots these days, which is through absentee and early voting as well as on Election Day, but also respect the great geographic diversity that we have here in Michigan, and the fact that different issues are important in different areas of the state. As you both well know, right? You're out in West Michigan today. That is a politically different place than here in Southeast where I am. So the timing is important because we have scheduled debates before each of the methods of voting, right? One before absentee ballots go out, one before early voting begins, and one right before Election Day, so that people can hear from these folks in due time, no matter how they want to cast a ballot.
You talked about how important the debates are. Talk a little bit about how close the Senate is, razor-thin lead, and the possibility of flipping it, and how long it's been since a Republican has represented the state of Michigan in the Senate.
Yeah, let's start with that one first. I mean, we go back to Spence Abraham to find a Republican member of the U.S. Senate from Michigan, and I think that the fact that this is an open seat contest really shines a light on the opportunity that Republicans believe that they have to change that trend, right? And have a Republican U.S. senator. Debbie Stabenow stepping away has created this context in which it is not only going to be super competitive because it's an open seat, but because we have two very quality candidates who are vying for this position. And I think that money is going to be driven by the fact that, Michigan could be a majority maker state where the winner of this race could determine partisan control of the Senate.
Yeah, this is key. And I'm very glad that we're seeing this new Michigan debate task force that's been developed to ensure that hopefully a high quality and unbiased debate. What goes into that? Is your priority to provide, I think, unfiltered information for the voter and the voting public out there? What are some of the key, steps you need to take to ensure that happens?
Well, and I'll just say we've been working on this as a group, as a task force for going on 2 years now, and our work is just now coming to light, and I think it's something that all of the organizations that are a part of it have been dedicated to, and really trying to serve the public good by, as you say, providing that information environment that's, we think, better than what people will get simply by watching TV ads or consuming digital content. All sorts of things go into it. We mentioned the timing of these things, the geographic diversity of these. One's going to be in Detroit, one's going to be in Grand Rapids, one's going to be in Traverse City. We've talked about the right media environment. So we're working with media partners that are going to allow us to share the feed with anybody who wants it, so that we can make sure that folks get this in all corners of the state. We got to have strong moderators, and we'll be announcing that very soon. Who can make sure that the candidates answer the questions that they're asked, and not just answer what they want to answer, right? So it's a multifaceted, sort of complex thing that we're still working through, but hope to have some finality here very soon.
Fantastic. Well, if you're still looking for moderators, I know a couple good guys that can help out there. Dave Dulio is the director of the Center for Civic Engagement and Political Science professor at Oakland University. Thanks so much, Dave. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good one. More to come. 760.